Oh no! Yeah. Good morning, book friends. It is Monday morning and I'm starting a new vlog with my very stained coffee cup here. So it's raining today and the lighting is not great, so you're just gonna have to bear with me. I was gonna film another video today, but I guess we'll see with the lighting. So for this week, I really just wanted a lighter reading week. Last week I was reading, what was I reading? I can never remember the title for that book. Okay, so I was reading The Girl Who Kicked the Hornet's Nest and Six of Crows, and both of those were just really dark and heavy. And so this week, I feel like I just need something on the lighter side that are gonna be easy to read, that I can finish, so I can feel like I have actually finished something. So I didn't actually finish The Girl Who Kicked the Hornet's Nest. I did return it to the library, but my library has like 50 copies, so I can easily get another one when I want to finish it. So my plan is basically just to put it down for this week. I think I will get it again maybe next week to finish it, because I am determined to finish it, hopefully this month, but it's just so much and I didn't think I would enjoy forcing myself to read all of it. So that's where I stand with that book. So let me show you what I got from the library this week, and then we'll talk about what I'm planning on reading this week for this vlog. So the first book I got this week was How to Stop Time. I actually got this sort of at the end of last week, and I am actually almost done with it. So I will discuss this later on in this vlog. So far, I'm really liking it. So yeah, I'll talk more about this later in the vlog. The next book is Piranesi. I've actually had this for a couple of weeks now, and I will have to return it soon, so I think I am actually gonna read this one this week. It's pretty short, and I believe it's a middle grade, so I'm thinking it won't be too hard to get through. So this book is about a boy that lives in a house that is like a fun house. It just is never ending, and he is just going through this house and trying to figure out why this house is the way it is, why it's never ending, what's going on. So this just sounds like a really fun adventure, and I think it'll just be light and easy to read, so I'm looking forward to reading this one this week. Also from the library this week, I picked up Take a Hint, Dani Brown. This is just gonna be a light romance. So this book is about a woman named Dani Brown she's just a ton of fun, and she's just going through life. She's a super independent woman. She don't need no man, and that's just how she lives. Until one day she meets a guy and they end up fake dating. I don't actually know the details too much about it. I just have heard that people really loved it and it's a ton of fun. So I think I'm going to read this one this week as well. Third book I got is Malibu Rising. This is one that was on my summer TBR. So this is another book that I am still very excited to read. I don't think I'm going to read it this week just because I'm feeling like I need a little bit more light, fun, fluffy action. This one I think is going to be a little bit more thoughtful. So I will probably pick this one up next week, but I have 3 weeks with it and I'm happy to have it for when I feel like reading it. I don't know, who knows, maybe I'll be in the mood this week and I'll want to pick it up this week. I also got this book, Wait For It, by Jenn McKinlay. I actually haven't heard very many people talking, actually I haven't heard anybody talking about this book. This is one that it just sounds similar to a lot of the summery rom-com kind of books. Yeah, so it looked fun, it looked summery. So I think this is also one that I maybe won't pick up this week, but I can just tell this is going to be one of those like one day reads, probably a day that I don't leave the house, especially if it's raining. I may end up just picking up this book and it's just going to be a one and done for me, and it's just going to be a good time. So I will save this one for a rainy day. The Starless Sea is another one I picked up this week. This is one that I didn't request it recently. I've been waiting for this one for a while just because of there was a wait list for my library. So this one is something that I really wanted to read a few months ago. I wouldn't say that the excitement has totally waned, but I'm not as excited about it as I was. But sometime within the next few weeks, I am definitely going to read it because I don't want to wait for it again. The last book I picked up was We'll Always Have Summer by Jenny Han. This is the second book in the summer I felt pretty, the summer you made me pretty, that series, the summer I became pretty, that's the series. So this is the second book. It just worked out that way. I did request them all, but this is just the one that came first. So like I said, I have 3 weeks, and these are going to be quite easy books to read. Yeah, there's not a lot of words in this book, and they're large and they're double-spaced. So I think I'm just gonna wait on this one, and I'm hoping that the first book in the series shows up soon, just I guess within the last week. I go to the library once a week and I pick up the things that I requested. So hopefully within the next 2 weeks that one will be available, so I can read the first one and then the second one. And the third one actually has a shorter list, so I think at this rate I'm going to get the second and third one before I get the first one. So if I start running out of time, I might just end up reading the ebook version of The Summer I Turned Pretty, and then I'll read this physical copy of We'll Always Have Summer and the third book in the series, which will probably be available soon. So yeah, those are the books that I picked up from the library this week. It was a good week. There are some weeks that I make my requests and nothing shows up. So that is all for my update for now. Today I do need to film another video. I am on call today. I may have to go out later. I'm not sure yet. So yeah, I'm just gonna try to get as much done at home as I can, and hopefully I don't have to leave the house because I don't want to take off my sweatpants. And so I will get that done. I'm hoping that I can get through How to Stop Time at least by tonight, maybe later tonight, and I'll be able to give you my review on that tomorrow. So yeah, hopefully the weather clears up so my lighting gets better, and it's gonna be a good day. Thank you for watching my second vlog, and I hope this one's better than last week. So yeah, have a great week, and I will see you in my next update. There's been a slight delay in filming. Got a little something going on outside, so I guess I'm just gonna make breakfast. Seasoning. Hello, it's Tuesday morning and I'm here to update you on how my reading's going. So last night I finished How to Stop Time. I really loved it. I thought it was just amazing. It was just so calming and beautiful, and it has such a great message. So if you don't know, How to Stop Time is by Matt Haig. He's the same author who wrote The Midnight Library, which I also really loved. So I think I'm going to gather my thoughts a little bit better, and then I'll probably do a full review on it later or tomorrow. But this is one that I think I need to kind of digest a little bit before I give my full thoughts on it in order to really just do it justice. Also, yesterday I mentioned that the next book I was planning on reading was Take a Hint, Dani Brown. So I took both books to bed with me. I was gonna finish How to Stop Time and then move on to the next book. And then I was just reading the back of Take a Hint, Dani Brown, and it just felt like something I just didn't feel like reading. I thought after the heavy reading week last week, I was going to be in the mood to read something just light, but I don't know, it just didn't seem like what I wanted to read. So instead, I ended up picking up this book that I also picked up from the library, but I forgot to mention. This is called Gwendy's Final Task, and it's by Stephen King and Richard Chizmar. I've never heard of him, but I have heard of Stephen King, and I actually have been interested in reading a Stephen King book because I have never read one before. So this book, I read the first few chapters, and I think it seems more like a YA. I always thought of Stephen King as an adult author, but this, I think, is kind of meant for a young adult. It seems like it's not going to be super deep. It's kind of goofy so far. The characters are pretty goofy. The words are large. There's illustrations. So I think it's just gonna be fun. When I picked it up, I looked at the cover and I thought it looked a little bit creepy, so that's what I was prepared for. But now reading it, it doesn't seem like it's really gonna be creepy at all. So basically, this book follows a woman who has this box, and she's been given this box several times and she can't seem to get away from it. It's a box that contains 7 buttons and it can't be opened. It's basically like a Pandora's box, and if she opens it, the world will end, something terrible will happen. But basically, she's on a mission to get this box where she needs to go. I kind of am going into this blind. So basically, so far, we know she is a senator for the state of Maine, I believe, and she is going on a spaceship. And these first few scenes are basically of her boarding a spaceship, and she is taking the box and is going to get launched into space. I am not sure what this has to do with the box, why she needs to take the box into space, but it just sounds like it's going to be kind of a fun and goofy adventure. So I am here for it. So for today, I am going to continue reading this book. I also just filmed a video that I meant to film yesterday but didn't get around to it. So I am exporting that right now. And yeah, so that's all I have going on for today. I didn't end up having to leave the house yesterday, which was amazing. So I will get some more work done and I will talk to you later.
Remember when the silence grew so big it pushed a hole straight through the sky? The ground beneath us caved in every time. So God would hear you cry. All our cowards curling up in smoke like a flame into the night. We didn't mean the stuff we said in bed that broke the lie.
Hi there. I have gathered my thoughts and I'm back now to talk about how to stop time. So this book follows a man named Tom Hazard. He is 400 something years old. I forget exactly how old he is. It doesn't matter. He's very old. So Tom has a disease called anageria, which is basically the opposite of progeria, which is a disease that is known in real life here. If you don't know, progeria is the disease that makes people age at an accelerated rate. In Tom's case, his anageria has drastically extended his life. His lifetime is expected to be about 950 years. So this story follows Tom from when he is very young until the present day, where he is the equivalent of about 41 years old, at least by appearances. But he is really 400 in some years. The story takes place in somewhat of an alternating timeline structure, but not really. I would consider it more of like a flashback style structure where we have the present day timeline and then it jumps back to relevant flashbacks. So the story follows Tom and all of his difficulties in just dealing with this disease and what kind of issues it has caused him throughout his life. When he was very young, his mother was basically burned at the stake. I mean, she was drowned, but essentially she was killed because she was accused of being a witch because her son wasn't aging. As he got older and he became a young adult, he met a woman and he fell in love and he started a young family. And he was happy for a while until his wife started aging normally and he was remaining the same. And people started to talk, and eventually for their safety, he had to leave them. So as time went on, Tom was just on his own, trying to figure out who he is, what was going on with him, and trying to manage the symptoms that he knew were just causing him a ton of heartache. He couldn't really get close to anybody, and he was constantly hiding and living in fear. So later on, Tom gets recruited by a man named Henrik, and basically Henrik is super old. He's close to 1,000 years old, and he is the master, and he is the leader of a society called the Albatross Society. The Albatross Society being named after the bird, the albatross that lives for an extremely long time, so the Albatross Society. This is an organization that promises to protect people with this condition. and there are more of them than Tom ever realized. But in return, they are sent on missions in order to go and find more of these people and recruit them. It sounded like a noble mission to Tom. He believed what Henrik was saying, that this was to protect people, protect these people from the biggest threat, which in his opinion was basically biotech companies that would have wanted to use them as lab rats or guinea pigs in order to research on their cells to make all of other humanity immortal. And Tom buys this for hundreds of years. The only rule of being a member of this society is that you don't fall in love. And essentially that means he's not allowed to form connections, because the more connections you have, the more likely it is that people will find out about your secret, and that would be, according to Henrik, dangerous for everybody. The story deals with Tom as he just tries to get through life, his very long life, dealing with the fears of what could be if anyone finds out, and working with the Albatross Society. You would think for someone being that old, they would be very wise. But Tom is actually as confused and troubled as the rest of us. But his confusion and troubles are spanning such a long span of time. He is so confused. He doesn't know what even to do at this point. He is frustrated because he's moved around so many times. He's hidden who he is for centuries. He has no real friends. And I don't want to say he's depressed. He never says anything about being depressed, but it's obvious that he is unhappy and he feels like what is he doing with his life? He has such an opportunity to have such a long life that most people don't have, but he feels like he's just a waste. And he feels like he just has so much time, but he's not using it effectively, and so what's the point? The tone of the story is just overall very slow and melancholy, and I really appreciated that. I didn't think this kind of story needed to be really exciting. It was very meandering. It was just like a rolling ocean, gentle current where we went through where we are introduced to Tom's present day life and what he's doing, and then we went through a lot of flashbacks that helped explain a lot of his backstory and just what he was dealing with, and explaining how he thinks and what his goals are after 400 years of life. I think if you're looking for a really exciting story, this is not it. If you're looking for something deeply profound, this isn't it either. What I think this is for is when you come very close to the end, I think you'll still be wondering what the point of all of this is. The overall message doesn't become apparent until really very close to the end of the story. And when you do get it, it's a very simple message. Essentially, the overarching message of the story is really just to stop letting fear rule you and to live in the present. So that's not especially profound, but I think that's something that a lot of us could use in times like this. And sometimes it's the simple things that really are the most hard-hitting and make you think the most. I really enjoyed this book. I also really enjoyed The Midnight Library. I think Matt Haig is going to be a new go-to author for me. I just really enjoy his writing style. I don't know of any more off the top of my head, but I am going to go and look for them. If you get a chance to read How to Stop Time, I really think you should. Like I said, it's not exciting, so if you're in the mood for something that's really exciting, you may not enjoy this book at this point in time, but I think there will come a moment in your life where you just want some comfort and you just want to be told that everything is gonna be okay and you're doing it okay. And I think this is the book for that moment in your life. Final day of the vlog, and I'm here to talk about my final thoughts on Gwendy's final task. I picked this up on a whim. I think I saw it just in the news section in the library and I thought, what the heck? I was wanting to read a Stephen King book. but I don't know why. I just never got around to it, and I saw this. I saw it was new. It was published this year, and I thought, I don't know, I'll just read one of his newer works. To be honest, I have no good reason. I just wanted to read a Stephen King book, and I saw that this was new, so I decided to pick it up on a whim. So I'll just preface this by saying I am definitely glad I read this. It wasn't one of my favorite books ever, but it was interesting, and I really did enjoy it. It was a good time. So this book follows a woman named Gwendy. She is in her 60s, and she is a US senator. And the fact that she is a senator is brought up multiple times as if it's really important, but I would say it's not actually that important. So the fact that she is a senator is important to the story in the sense that it is a catalyst for a lot of the events that happen, but it's really not important to her own development as a character. So I know some people, like, if you don't, so just because she's a senator, the book isn't political or anything. It doesn't focus on what she does as a senator, really. So if you want to stay away from politics, it's still possible with this book. So since the age of 12, this interesting magical box has been coming in and out of Gwendy's life. The box is managed by this keeper of sorts. His name is Ferris, and he manages this box and gives it to different people who he believes are able to manage it and take care of it. Ferris first met Gwendy when she was 12, and he gave her the box then, and since then it's come in and out of Gwendy's life at different times, but other people have had it as well. So I wouldn't say that having the box is definitely a death sentence, but it is clear that a lot of the previous owners of the box have passed away in various ways, whether or not they have done it themselves or if something having to do with the box has killed them. This is something that Gwendy is used to, and it doesn't really seem to scare her. And I'm not sure if she really has much of a choice in accepting the box when Ferris decides to bring it back, but this doesn't bother her. She always takes it back willingly. But the throwing around of this box finally comes to a head in the events of this book, and Gwendy's final task is basically to get rid of it. So the box is somewhat of a Pandora's box. It calls to you and it wants you to open it, touch it, play with it, but it is extremely powerful, and the more that one interacts with it, the more they feel drawn to it, and the more they are somewhat possessed by the power that the box holds. So when you hear what's in the box, when I heard what was in the box, I was like, what? This is weird. So basically what's in the box is 7 brightly colored buttons plus 1 black button. I'm imagining these just being like big plastic toy buttons, something that looks like a child's toy. So each colored button represents a continent on the globe, and the black button is somewhat of a self-destruct button. Ferris calls it the cancer button, which I purport to just mean if you press that, the world will self-destruct. So I think I missed something here. What happens when you press any of the other colored buttons? When you press any of the colored buttons that represent a certain continent, some sort of disaster happens on that continent. So basically, the premise of this box is that anybody who has it is able to basically control disasters that happen around the world. Some of the examples that are given, there was an earthquake that damaged a pyramid of Giza, and in this story, Gwendy caused that by pressing a button as a demonstration for someone. And then the biggest example would be the last person that had the box was having some sort of emotional breakdown and pressed the Asia button. And soon after that, Ferris brought the box back to Gwendy, and he said, well, this person pressed the Asia button. So far, 2 people in Wuhan at a wet market have died, but tons more are sick, and we don't know where this is going to go. And so when I heard that, I mean, we all know what that is, and I thought this book was maybe going to go in the direction of a parody of coronavirus. And I thought, is it a little too soon for that? We're not quite through it. Is it really funny yet? But the book didn't actually go very far in that direction. I think it was just an example that we could relate to that was showing just the power of the box and what it is able to do. So basically, the holder of this box holds the fate of the world in their hands. And that means just the box is extremely powerful, and whoever has it just has this sense of like godliness that is quite corrupting. The story starts out with Gwendy at a sort of launching pad. She is going into space, SpaceX style. And what I mean by that is she is going on a space mission that is not like a NASA mission that is purely for research and science and with professional astronauts. She is going on a space mission that includes a paying passenger, a billionaire basically, who wants to go to space for his own personal reasons. So Gwendy is going to be taking this box up into space, and slowly it becomes clear that Gwendy's final task is to take this box up into space and dispose of it, because really nobody should have this type of power. It's corrupting and just nobody should have it. So it's pretty easy to deduce what the main conflict is going to be here. So there's the billionaire on this flight who just by nature loves power. And then there's Gwendy, who is carrying this box and she needs to dispose of it. So it's really not complicated. It's not one of those books that you really have to think super hard about to figure out the plot. So I picked this book up, and just based on what I know about Stephen King, I thought it was going to be creepy. It is not at all. It's not creepy, not scary. It's actually quite goofy and unserious. I would say it's funny at times. I assumed it was going to be creepy because, I mean, honestly, the cover looks kind of creepy. And just based on what we know about Stephen King, maybe he's written different things, but really the only thing that I know of off the top of my head that he's written is The Shining and It. And both of those are supposedly terrifying. I haven't read either of them, so I don't actually know. But yeah, this book is completely different. Maybe it's this other author, but it's not creepy, not scary. Earlier in this vlog, I think I mentioned that this might have been a YA book. I'm not actually sure what it is, but now, I mean, I'm thinking it's a middle grade. It got even cheesier. Not that that's a bad thing, but yeah, the plot line is very straightforward. It's very easy to understand. There's like illustrations in it. Let's see if I can find one. There's like illustrations like this throughout the book. There's this title and borders section. The words are large. So yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a middle grade. Also, in terms of content, there's really nothing at all offensive in it. It's all very mild. So there is one death in this book and what I usually don't like reading about deaths. I don't like reading about violence and body things. It creeps me out. But the death in this book, the way it happens is, so if you can imagine how a cartoon might die, that's basically how this person dies in this book. Yeah, so I mean, don't worry. If you want to give this book to like your 8-year-old, I think it would be fine. So basically this book, it was entertaining. It was silly and kind of a joke. So I enjoyed it for what it is. It didn't really change anything. It wasn't very deep. It didn't make you think about anything. It was kind of just making light of a situation, and you know, I mean, I enjoyed it. Is it gonna be a top favorite? No, it's not something I'll ever probably read again, but if you're looking for something that's just like fun to read, something you just don't want to take too seriously, that'll just be fun, and something that feels kind of like a movie, this read a lot like a movie. I can totally see this being adapted to like a Disney Channel movie. It's like it has that type of feel. So it's nostalgic in a way, but current at the same time, just because we're talking about coronavirus. So yeah, I think I would probably give it 4 stars. I enjoyed it. That is what I read this week. I did end up picking up Piranesi. At the beginning of this week, I think I said I wanted to read this because I thought it was going to be light reading. I'm not sure about that. I mean, maybe if you've read this book, you're probably giggling at me just by thinking that. If you've read this book and you know what I'm talking about, you probably are giggling at me right now. But this book doesn't seem like it's going to be that light. I had heard that it was about a boy that lives in like a never-ending house, and he was just exploring the house. And so I thought it was just going to be like a fun, lighthearted adventure. So far, I read the first chapter, and it's quite philosophical and seems like it's going to start out kind of slow. So, I don't know if I'm going to pick this up now, or I may just save this for later. So I guess we'll see. If I do continue reading this, I will finish it over the weekend, so I'll let you know in the next vlog if I decided to pick it up. But if I don't decide if I don't decide to continue Piranesi, I did get this book at the library the other day, The Department of Rare Books and Special Collections. This is also a book that I had never heard of. I think it's a mystery. So this is about a woman who works in the library in like the special collections division, and a really rare and important book goes missing, and she just needs to figure out what happened to it. The police are getting involved, obviously. There's just a big conspiracy, I think, that is occurring that makes this more complicated than just a simple theft. So it sounds interesting. I like books that are about libraries, that involve books, and mysteries have kind of been my thing recently. So I'm excited to get into this. I think I'm gonna pick up this one next, and hopefully I have an update for you on it in next week's vlog. So that is all for this week's vlog. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this vlog was more interesting than the last week, and I'm going to try to keep making it more interesting. I think from now on I'm going to try to theme these vlogs a little bit better. So rather than making it just a weekly vlog of whatever I got up to or whatever I read that week, I think I am going to try to make these vlogs a little bit more focused on a certain type of book. That way the vlog has a little bit more of a theme. So if you think that would be a better idea than what I'm doing now, please let me know in the comments. Or if you like the style of vlog where it's really just more authentic of what I decided to pick up, put down, or random things I wanted to read throughout the week. So yeah, I think that's all for this week. Again, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. It really helps out my channel. And I think that's it. I will see you next time. Bye.